Hey everyone, this will be a tutorial on downloading and installing OBS Studio for Windows, along with some basic configuration to get you up and streaming in no time. This guide will not be covering Streamlabs OBS, although a lot of the things I mention here can be applied there. I will however be making a detailed Streamlabs OBS video in the future, so be sure to subscribe and click the bell below for that. Before we get into the meat of the video, I wanted to let you know that I do stream on Twitch over on my channel at twitch.tv/lethargicwaldo. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Links for my channel are in the description down below. And with that, let's get going. Welcome back. First things first, you're going to need to download OBS Studio. This can be found at the OBS website. The link for that will be in the description down below. As this video is only touching on the Windows setup, you'll just want to click on the Windows button found here. This will automatically download the installer. Once it's finished, you can click on the installer to begin the process. As I'm currently running OBS, I actually can't go through the process with you, but it's a very basic Windows installation. Just put it on your C drive, call it good. Once the install is complete, there's a little checkbox that says Launch OBS. Keep that checked, click Finish, and OBS will launch. Now that OBS is open, you'll be met with a configuration wizard. While this tool is useful and will get you up and running, it will skip over a lot of the settings that I will be touching on. So if you plan on following this guide, you can go ahead and cancel or close the auto configuration wizard. Once the wizard has been closed, we need to go over the settings within OBS and adjust some of the defaults to something that will work much better for you, your stream, and most importantly, your viewers. Keep in mind, nothing I say here is gospel and is all based on my personal preferences. This guide is to get you and your OBS to the point that you can click Start Streaming and go. All right, time to change some settings. Head over to the buttons in the lower right corner and click Settings, as seen right here. This will open the settings window, and you will notice that it drops you into the General tab right away. You'll also see some other tabs on the left. We will touch on all 7 of these, I promise, so let's just go step by step. Back to General. In this tab, you'll see multiple subsections: General, Output, Source Alignment, Snapping, etc., etc. Most of these can be left default, but I'm going to talk about a few that I personally use and I think will make your life a lot easier. First off, the General subsection. The language should be changed if applicable. It may not for you, it wasn't for me. Theme, entirely preference. I personally use a dark theme, but it's up to you. The only thing that I really recommend using here is check for updates on startup, which should be on by default, but if not, go ahead and tick that box. It'll constantly keep OBS up to date with really cool new features. OBS 25 included Vulkan, which was never really able to be captured reliably before, so very cool stuff. And then opening the stats dialog isn't really necessary, as you will probably end up putting a stats box in the bottom of your OBS anyways, so I don't really see the point in having it. All right, next up is output. None of these settings are necessary by any means, but I know a lot of people like to use the show confirmation dialog when X. This is mostly so they don't accidentally start or stop a stream or stop a recording. It can save you a little bit of a headache, but one of the things I never really used. Automatically record when streaming is a great option if you have the disk space to back it up, as streams can get muted, or if you haven't enabled VOD saving yet, you can at least have your own copy of your streams. Keep recording when streaming stops is a great tool if you're playing, say, Apex with your buddies, and you want to quit streaming but still capture any possible wins or really awesome fights or moments. Both of the replay buffer options are something I plan on going over in a future video. It's a very cool tool that I actually just recently learned about myself, but will definitely require a good bit of time to really show off its potential, so keep an eye out for that in the future. Source alignment snapping is on by default and should have settings either exactly or very similar to mine. I recommend keeping this on, as you can always pull a source away from something it has snapped to by using the arrow keys. The settings themselves are pretty self-explanatory: snap sources to edge of screen, snap to other sources, and snap sources to the horizontal and vertical center. All very useful. I recommend keeping all of them on. Next is everything else. Projectors, system tray, preview, importers, studio mode, and multi-view should all be just left as default. Feel free to mess with them later, but this is just another case of the vast majority of people will never ever touch these and they'll always stay default. After you've done that, go ahead and click apply and all of your settings will save. That way you don't lose anything that you've done. Okay, now we're done with general. So you can go ahead and click the stream tab on the left side and that will take us into the stream service options. This will allow you to associate your stream with whatever service you plan on streaming to. Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, and Facebook is what I will be covering in this video, as they're the big four, and they're the four I'm familiar with. The nice thing about OBS is that they have Twitch and Mixer integration that you can link directly into OBS, importing your chat and updating stream information. It's very convenient. YouTube and Mixer do not have that option and will need to be set up via StreamKey. Doing it this way does not allow you to have any of that control without having some sort of third-party application, and it kind of gets messy from there. Twitch and Mixer can be configured this way, but I advise against it because you lose a lot of functionality for no reason. So it just doesn't make sense. From there, you're going to have to get your stream key if you decide to go the stream key route. So we'll just go ahead and use YouTube as the example. I'll go ahead and select this and you'll see there's a button here that says get stream key. Once you click that, it's going to open up a window to your dashboard and it has all your information here. I'm not going to show my stream key because I don't really want you guys to have it, but you can grab it right here and copy that and paste it right into OBS and you're ready to go after you click apply. It's that easy. Hey, so this is Waldo in post. Yeah, with Mixer, for some reason they have some 24-hour lockout. I don't really know why for stream keys, so just keep that in mind when you are creating a Mixer account, that you might not be able to stream right away. It might take a day or so before you can actually get to it. So back to the video. All right, output is one of the biggest portions of this and one of the parts most people get hung up on because they don't really know what settings to use and it's kind of convoluted. So I'm going to make this as simple as possible. And speaking of simple, we're going to be using the output mode simple. I used to use advanced. I was never able to get my stream looking that much better than what simple can output. So I just decided to switch over. With that being said, if you do have any questions regarding any of this section or any of this altogether, feel free to join my Discord. I'll put the link for that in the description down below. I have a tech support channel there, and they are a lot of help for pretty much anything you can think of. We have somebody for something. So that being said, and me being done advertising my Discord, let's move into bitrate. Bitrate is based on your upload speed, but Twitch will only accept up to 6,000 kilobits per second. So if you have a 10 megabit upload speed, you can stream at the highest bitrate that Twitch will accept. So kind of take that into consideration. I think most people will be able to handle the max bitrate, but the side effect to that is that some of your viewers may not be able to handle receiving that much data if they don't have a good enough download connection. So test it out, kind of see what works for you and your viewers, adjust it. I occasionally drop it to 5,000 if I have specific viewers in chat, just so I can make sure that I'm accommodating and they can enjoy the stream as well. All right, time to go over the encoder. This is another one that people get a little confused on because there's 3 options and there's really no indication on what each one is. So I'll do a quick breakdown. NVENC, or hardware, is going to be using your GPU. This will cause a dual load on your GPU though. It will split streaming and gameplay between the two, and you'll probably see a lack of performance in one area or the other. X264 is CPU encoding. Your CPU is going to handle all the load. It's going to be handling it all. If you have a beefy CPU, I recommend just using X264. I have a 3900X and it tears through every stream I throw at it. So kind of just look at what you have and see what's best. And then NVENC new is going to be for anything that's running an RTX card, as they have a dedicated encoding chip built onto the board, and it works incredibly well. If I had an RTX card, I would definitely be using it myself, but I just don't have it. So kind of test them out, see what works best for you. If you have questions regarding that, you can drop those in the comments down below and I can make suggestions. But encoder is just one of those things you're gonna have to mess with and see which one works best for you and which one's causing errors, which one's not, so on and so forth. Your audio bitrate encoder preset, custom encoder settings, they can all just stay the same. You can just leave all of that default. And then we're not going to go over recording because I'm doing that in another video. So just leave all of that blank or default and click apply, and we'll move on to the next section. All right, audio time. Let's go ahead and click audio on the left, and you'll see that there's 4 subsections here: general, devices, meters, advanced. We only care about devices. And to go even further, most people will only care about desktop audio and mic/auxiliary audio. There might be a small handful of you out there that want a second input or a second output device, but I think most of you will be good with just the 2. You can just go ahead and set these to whatever you have, like your speakers or your headphones set to for desktop audio. So this is going to be your output. So just set that to whatever you're using to listen to things. And then mic auxiliary audio should just be your microphone. Just set it to whatever your mic is within Windows, and you're good to go. It's very quick, very simple, very easy. If you need to do something like a line in from your PC, go ahead and change audio 2 to whatever that is. But like I said, most people probably will not be using that. Once you're done, click apply, save your settings, and we move on to video. All right, now that we're done with audio, we're going to jump over to the video tab. This is the last tab that we're really going to be putting a lot of emphasis on because the other 2 tabs are a lot of preference and not a lot of stream changes. So here you're going to see base canvas resolution, output scaled resolution, downscale filter, and common FPS value. Base canvas is going to be the area that you are working with all your sources, your game feed, your camera, etc., etc. I typically will put this at 1080, 900p, or 720p. It's really going to depend on what you want to output at. And the reason I mention that is because if your output and your base canvas do not match each other, your GPU is going to be taking about a 30 to 40% additional load, and that's with something like a 1080 or a 1080 Ti. If you're running something older, you could be seeing upwards of 80% GPU usage, and this cannot be offloaded onto your CPU. So I highly recommend making sure that these 2 match to reduce the load on your computer. Downscale filter, it's kind of a preference thing. I don't really see a huge difference between each one, especially on modern games. So just kind of mess around with it, see what you like. For FPS, I always try and get to 60 FPS. It's a better viewing experience, and it might be a little harder on your computer, but like I said, your viewers will thank you for it. If you can't get there, you can set it to 30, but I'd recommend just adjusting your encoding settings to get it to 60. I personally think it's the absolute best way to do it. All right, last and certainly least for me are hotkeys and advanced. The hotkeys are pretty self-explanatory. You can map functions of hotkeys, easy peasy, just mess around with it, see if it's something you want to use. I personally don't use it because I have a Stream Deck and a few other options for mapping things, so it doesn't make any sense for me to use it. But the advanced tab might have some features that you're interested in. In general, the process priority is a pretty cool thing. It makes it so OBS has moved up higher on the process totem pole, so to speak. Above normal is a pretty good place to go. If you go high, you might start impacting your gameplay, so above normal is probably best. Your video, don't really need to change anything here. You can mess with the color space and the color range, see if you find something you like a little better than default, but ultimately, I don't see much of a difference, especially in modern games. Recording, not going over recording. Stream delay, please do not use stream delay. It is a horrible experience for your viewers. Trying to talk to somebody that's 20 to 30, 40, 50 seconds ahead of you is terrible. Please do not use it. Your viewers will thank you. Automatically reconnect, just leave it default. There's never any reason you'll need to adjust this. Network, this is going to be for people that are running like a network card and have multiple Ethernet outputs, or they're running on a VPN or something. Most people won't need this. You can just leave it at default unless you know exactly what you want here. Sources, enable browser source hardware acceleration. This is something that I usually leave on. I've never really had any reason to turn it off. And then the hotkey focus behavior. Again, I don't use hotkeys, so it's one of those things that I haven't put a lot of time into, so I actually don't really know how useful it is. But after you go through that, if there's anything you changed, go ahead and click apply. And that's all the main settings for OBS. From here, we're going to go into sources, but I'm going to have to make that a second video because this one turned out to be a lot longer than I had expected. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Join the Discord. You can follow me on Twitter. I will also include that in the links below. And have a great day. Thanks.